Hi everybody, it's me, Mike Celestino from LaughingPlace.com, and I've got another one of these big boxes from our friends over at Hasbro. They were nice enough to send this over for me to check out, and this time, it's not Star Wars, it's Indiana Jones, and I am super psyched about this. If you've listened to my podcast, Who's the Boss, or if you've read my writing over at LaughingPlace.com, you know that I am just as big a fan of the Indiana Jones franchise as I am Star Wars, so I'm super psyched that we've entered into this period of new Indiana Jones merchandise coming out as we lead up to the release of the fifth film, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And this is part of that merchandising push. This is a box from Hasbro. It's made to look like a crate, but it is a cardboard box, and it says, "Join Indy for the ultimate adventure" there on the side of the box. And yeah, this is going to be, I believe, the first wave of the Indiana Jones toys that Hasbro has put out in celebration of this new film. So let's open this up and let's take a look at what's inside. Here we go. Okay, I'll just swing open the box here. And the first thing that I want to take a look at is just this message from Hasbro, greeting the adventurers, greeting us as the adventurers, and making sure that we disclose that, yes, Hasbro did send this over to us at LaughingPlace.com for the for promotion of this stuff, and it was for free, and I do get to check this stuff out for you as long as I do let you know that Hasbro sent it over to us. So let's go through the contents really quickly before I start opening everything. So this is the first thing that jumps out to me, probably the biggest item in here. It's the Indiana Jones Whip Action Indy. So this is, I think, about a 12-inch style action figure with, of course, whip action, as would be implied. And it's got the voice and everything. So he says, "Snakes, why did it have to be snakes? X marks the spot." And it says, "Try me" on the back here. Let's see. Oh, okay. So you press this little satchel here on the back to make him do the whip action.
Snakes suck! I hate them! I told you! Don't call me Junior.
So it actually does sound like Harrison Ford. It sounds like maybe they just took the audio clips right from the films.
I don't know what they've got there. Fortune and glory, kid.
So I've heard clips, I think, from all the movies. So it spans the entire Indiana Jones franchise. It looks like a nice, fun toy, and we'll open that up in a bit. Let's continue going through what's in here. I'm pretty excited about this. So this is the Staff of Ra Headpiece from Hasbro. It's ages 14 and up. It's got light effects. Let's see. It's got a removable headpiece, realistically detailed, entertainment-inspired reproduction of the Staff of Ra Headpiece from Raiders of the Lost Ark, obviously, and the display stand. And it looks like the headpiece does light up. So Disney Parks sold one of these that was a nice, like, metal reproduction of that prop from the first movie. But this one looks like, you know, it's got some additional features to it that the Disney Parks one doesn't have. So you'll be able to light up around the edge of that headpiece. I think it's going to look pretty cool. And obviously it's got the base there that you wouldn't have gotten with that one. But a different take on the Staff of Ra headpiece. I'm very excited to check that out as well. And then, let's see, from the Worlds of Adventure collection, there's Indiana Jones with horse. So riding that Arabian horse, I think this would be from The Last Crusade, because you've got the Holy Grail right there. It also comes with a snake and the satchel, a couple different satchels, and a whip. So these are targeted at ages 4 and up. So this is kind of the younger targeted toys. In that same line, we've got Worlds of Adventure Helena Shaw from the new movie Dial of Destiny. She comes with the motorcycle, and she's also got some kind of a net firing cannon, and some kind of a skull wearing a crown there. And this is 1-to-1, so this is the size that the toys are actually going to be inside the box. Let's see, more Worlds of Adventure toys. This is Indiana Jones with Adventure Backpack. So this would be Indy from the beginning of the first movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. He actually comes with the boulder, which is fun, a snake, a spider, the idol of fertility, and a whip and a machete to cut through the jungle. So that's pretty cool. Looks pretty neat. That's a good one. So we'll get to that in a bit as well. Just want to go through all these Worlds of Adventures before we move on. This is Dr. Jürgen Voller, who I believe is the Mads Mikkelsen character in Dial of Destiny. He comes with a plane that he is sitting in the turret for, and that looks pretty cool. It's got a fireable missile launcher thing there, and that's actual size as well. So the last one from the Worlds of Adventure collection is Indiana Jones with motorcycle and sidecar. So I think this would be from Last Crusade as well, although you don't get Dr. Henry Jones Sr., Indy's father, who would sit in that sidecar. It's just Indy. But Indy doesn't have the tie here. So is this Last Crusade or is this Dial of Destiny? Or I guess it's just generally Indiana Jones. He does ride a motorcycle every once in a while. But yeah, it is a very cool looking set. Another fireable missile does come with the whip, both coiled up like that, I guess for when he's riding the bike, and then the extended whip and a satchel as well. We're going to open up all these in a bit. So let's see, from the other collections, we've got Indiana Jones Action-Crackin Whip. Okay, this is kind of the role play whip for ages 5 and up. And let's see, it's over 3 feet long, 90 centimeters. It has snap and retract action. And there's a kid using the real whip action of the whip. So that's fun. We're going to check that out later on as well. Now we get to the part that I really am a fan of, that I am a collector of, the action figures. So let's start with these larger ones. These are the Adventure series, the 6-inch series of action figures. And this would be the centerpiece of that whole collection. This is Indiana Jones from Raiders of the Lost Ark in the 6-inch Adventure series. It also has the build and artifact, which means each one of these characters, Indy, Marion, Sala, Belloc, and Tote, are all going to come with a piece of the Ark, the Lost Ark itself, the Ark of the Covenant. And you can build it if you collect all 5 of those characters. Here's a diagram on the back of everything that Indy comes with. He's got the idol, he's got his revolver, he's got his whip, and the satchel as well. So pretty complete as far as the 6-inch Indy toy goes. Then we've got the main villain of Raiders of the Lost Ark, Renee Belloc, in the ceremonial outfit from the end of the film when he's opening the Ark. And this is, of course, another one of the Build an Artifact series. This is going to come with the 2 poles that they use to lift the Ark in the Well of the Souls. And then there's the back. He comes with that staff with the ram's head on it. Looking pretty good there, Belloc. And then Sala, good old trusty sidekick Sala from his first appearance in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He's going to help Indy get into the map room. Sorry, this is not the first scene that he's in, but he's in that movie for the first time. He's going to go lower this rope into the map room to help Indy figure out where the Well of the Souls is. And that's how he looks during that scene. He's got a shovel, he's got some rope, and of course he's coming with another piece of that Ark. Then we've got the love interest and another great character, sort of another sidekick character from Raiders of the Lost Ark, Marion Ravenwood, as played by Karen Allen in Raiders. And she, of course, eventually goes on to marry Indiana Jones in the 4th film. But she comes with the monkey from Raiders, and you've got the frying pan that she uses as a weapon. And then, like I said, you get another piece of the Ark there as well. And then, lastly, in that series from this box, we've got Tote. He is the sidekick villain. He's kind of the underling, the henchman of Belloc. And he, of course, will come with his alternate hand, which is, he's got the image of the headpiece of the Staff of Ra burned into his hand there, so they used that to dig in the wrong place. Then he also is going to come with a melting face, so you can switch him out for when they open the Ark at the end of the movie. And he's got his pistol there. Looks like maybe a German style Luger or gun like that. And then nice cloak to, the heavy coat to hang around him there. I don't know if it doesn't come with that hanger thing that he uses in the movie, but very cool figure. Nevertheless, let's see. Here's another card. This is just the FTC guidelines about our unboxing. Okay, and then we've got the retro collection toys. These are just as exciting because these are both reproductions and additions to the original line. So these, I believe all 5 of these were made in the original Kenner action figure line for Raiders of the Lost Ark. So this is, Adventures of Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is a reproduction of that original figure with mostly the same packaging that it would have come in. They didn't used to have this, the interior bubble there to keep the figure from moving around. But other than that, it's pretty close to what you would have gotten in the early 80s when you would buy these toys. So there's Indy with his gun and his whip. And on the back, they show you all 5 of these characters that we're going to be looking at. So another one of Tote with his pistol there. Again, Tote the henchman villain, and Belloc in the same sort of ceremonial garb from the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark with the staff and his little chest plate piece here. The interesting thing about this figure is it was released as part of the original line, but it was never on a card because I think it was a mail away figure that you would receive it just like in an envelope. So it never was printed, it never was released on a card back like that. So this is the very first time that has ever happened. So a nice collectible for that reason. Of course, we've got Marion Ravenwood. Now Marion is in a different outfit here than in her 6-inch version. This is the dress that she's wearing after Belloc gives her this dress, which she's held prisoner in the Nazi camp. And then this is the dress that she's wearing when she gets dumped into the Well of the Souls and is trapped down there with Indy. But she does also come with the monkey. And like I said, this would have been the same as the figure that was released for Marion back in the early 80s. And then lastly, in that series, we've got the German Mechanic retro collection action figure from Kenner and Hasbro. He's got the little wrench there. And this is the guy that Indy fights in front of that flying wing vehicle. One of the great fight scenes from Raiders of the Lost Ark. So what's funny about all these action figures, both the 6-inch and the 3 3/4-inch retro collection action figures. The funny thing is that I had already bought all of these. Yes, I pre-ordered all the Adventure Series 6-inch figures from Hasbro, and those arrived before I got this free box of stuff. And then while I was at Star Wars Celebration in London, I found all the retro collection figures, which I purchased at the convention. And then this one I had pre-ordered, the Indy one. So the great thing about getting more of them, 2 copies, the second copy from Hasbro in the mail, is that I can open one set of these, which I will for this video, and then I can keep the other ones in the packaging. The problem with the 6-inch figures, so that's going to be great for the 3 3/4-inch retro collection. I can have one set opened and one set still in the very nice packaging. But with the Adventure Series, there's no way to see the figure. This box is it's just cardboard. There's no window. And yes, I understand the environmental reasons behind that, but preferably, I think the ideal situation for me would be, to have one in the box that you could see the figure and then one to open. But as it stands, I guess I'm just going to keep one in the box like this. But I know that Hasbro has changed their mind about this whole no window thing. They are going back to doing it the other way, which I think is probably for the best. I think most fans are going to agree, and they're probably going to see the figures start selling a little bit more because of that. But yeah, I am very thankful for Hasbro for sending this over. Although, yeah, as I've said before, not only do I get this stuff for free, I also buy it because I have not learned my lesson yet, and I want to be on top of this stuff. I don't want to miss out, so I tend to pre-order things that I'm excited for, especially new Indiana Jones stuff, which we haven't gotten for a while. So let's clear all this off, and we'll get to opening this stuff. So I think I'm going to start with the action figures this time and kind of go backwards through all that stuff. And what I did was I went and compared all the packaging between the two copies that I have, and I've kept the ones that are in better shape in the box, and I'm going to open up the ones that are not in as great shape. In most cases, those for the retro collection, those were the ones that I brought back with me from London. They kind of got banged up a little bit on the plane. I did a pretty good job of protecting them, but now that I have better copies, I'm going to keep those in the package. I'm going to open these up. I think we should start with Indiana Jones himself. Why not? So yeah, I know it pains me to open this as well, but as demonstrated, I've got a couple of them, so not as bad as it would be otherwise. So let's take Indy out of the box here. And yeah, this is a reproduction of the Indiana Jones action figure, the first one that was ever made from the early 80s. And let's see if I can get his revolver in his hand there. Oops. Whew. Yeah, got it in there. Action figures were not as sophisticated back then as they are now, so his hand, it was tough to get the, I keep on wanting to say blaster, that is a different franchise, but his revolver, it was tough to get it to stay in his hand, but his whip, let's see, you know, ordinarily, I think, you know, Indy's right-handed, I believe, so he would both whip and fire his gun with the same hand, but two hands, two weapons. There is a little hook here on his left hip where you can hook the whip. The holster, unfortunately, is not a working one. You can't put the gun into the holster, which, if you know me, if you've seen my videos before, working holster, one of my favorite action figure features. Also the hat, the fedora is not removable. Also, I would say, as far as the sculpt goes, back, you know, going back to the early 80s, I think the brim on the hat could have been wider. It doesn't look like his fedora so much as it does like a, I don't know, he looks more like a detective, like a private, like a PI than Indiana Jones. But, you know, the knees do have articulation, which I think was unusual for figures back then. But I think that was so he could ride on the horse that was also released as part of that line. As far as the arms go, just one point of articulation on the shoulders, and the head, of course, does swivel back and forth. There's no articulation on the waist. And there you go. That's Indiana Jones from the Retro Collection, a reproduction of the first ever Indiana Jones figure from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Here's, you know, I paid £14 for this Marion Ravenwood back in London. You do the math. I don't know what that is in dollars. Let's open her up. So this is Marion as she appears in the Well of the Souls. Pop her out here, and we got the little monkey, little Nazi monkey that she can be friends with. Nice dress. Very dainty, petite figure here, which is probably why they included just a little bit more plastic with her, giving her the monkey. Let's see if we can get her to hold this. Yeah, so she can hold the monkey by the tail. There's Marion Ravenwood with the monkey from Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Retro Collection. You'll notice that there is no Sala in this series. They didn't make a Sala in 1981 or whenever these figures came out originally. Instead, we got a German mechanic. So Sala is being made as part of the retro collection, but he's coming out from The Last Crusade, which Kenner never got to do originally. So it's a new, quote-unquote, retro figure of Sala from The Last Crusade. But let's open up the German mechanic here. I think this gentleman's name was Pat Roach, the stuntman who played this character, who appeared in all three of the original Indiana Jones trilogy movies. And he's got a wrench to beat Indy over the head with. Let's see. There we go. And he's also got articulated knees in case you wanted to put him on the horse or, I don't know, sitting on a bench. Very, very cool to have that character. More villains the better, in my opinion. There's the backside of the German mechanic. Then we've got Tote, the henchman from Raiders of the Lost Ark, with his black coat, black hat, and black gun. Pop this out here. And he is capable of doing the Sig Heil with, if you were able to, I don't know if you can see that, on his hand is the burned in outline of the headpiece to the Staff of Ra. Let's put the gun in his left hand since he cannot hold it in the right. There we go. Okay, that's Tote. Again, a reproduction of an old figure. A, let's see, 42-year-old figure, to be specific. And there's Belloc. Again, the first time that this has been available on the card. Pop him open here. This is the ceremony at the end of the film where they open the Ark. And of course he does come with that staff. So this would have been the mail-away figure that you would get. I think if you purchased the other ones, you send in the UPC codes, remember? If you're old enough to remember that, and then you would get this in the mail. The Belloc ceremonial garb figure. Underneath, he does have articulated knees. Now I'm curious if Marion has articulated knees. Let's see. She does not. Marion is the only one who cannot ride the horse. Sorry, ladies. Belloc can ride the horse. Marion, you're out of luck. But that's what he looks like in the Retro Collection 3 3/4 inch scale of figures, which brings us to the larger figures, the 6-inch toys. These are what I've been into lately as far as Star Wars goes. The 6-inch scale figures, they just allow for a lot more detail. Of course, it's more difficult to do stuff like play sets and vehicles in the 6-inch scale because they would just be so large. Now, they have done some for Star Wars. I got the big snow speeder. They were going to make that big Rancor from the HasLab, but that never panned out. So, but very happy to have this 6-inch Indiana Jones for the first time. Very nice looking figure. Pretty good likeness of Harrison Ford, I would say. The hat is kind of rubbery, which is good. It's kind of malleable. And, you know, these 6-inch figures also have way more articulation in general than the 3 3/4 inch. You just have room for Hasbro to play a lot more with what they can do with the figure. So let's see what's in his little accessory pack here, and I'll try not to spill it out all over the place. So you got the whip. Whoops. The whip both coiled and uncoiled. Here's the coiled up whip. And let's see, this is the idol of fertility there. I don't know if you can get a good look at that. Then we've got the birds from the top of the ark when we start to build that, and a bunch of alternate hands. Start to go through those. Make sure I got everything. So here are the alternate hands that Indy comes with. There's 2 fists. You got to have fists because Indy does get in a lot of fist fights. And then, let's see, grasping hands. Which, okay, so yeah, I guess one of these is meant to hold. Oh yeah, so this would be the pistol hand, and the other one is the whip hand. But for now, I'm just going to put the revolver in. Whew, there we go. I got it in. It was a little tough to open up his fingers there, but once it's in, it looks pretty cool. I don't know. I want to say that revolver looks a little small to me, but maybe the scale is right, and I'm just used to action figures having bigger guns than they should. Let's see. Is the hat removable? No. The hat is not removable, so that's good to know. That's fine, though. I think that looks, you know, he's usually wearing his hat when he's in this outfit. There are other figures in the series coming up that will have Indy without his hat, like when he's the professor or when he's possessed in Temple of Doom. But, yeah, I would say that's a pretty nice-looking figure. And this does have, I believe it does have the working holster. Let's see. Yeah, that opens up so you can put the gun in the holster. That's great. And you are able to attach the whip to the belt, which is awesome, too. So this little loop is going to come around and plug right in there. It is tricky to get this little loop to plug into that, the little peg to plug into the hole there to hold the whip. What I realized is that his left hand is intended to have the shape that was on, you know, the main poster for Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is cool. So when later on I'll swap out his hand for the whip hand, and we'll try to pose him in that way. But yeah, great. You know, this is going to be the centerpiece of the whole collection, Indiana Jones Adventure Series 6-inch collection, and I think it looks pretty swell. Love the detailing. Love the colors. Pretty solid likeness. So let's move on here to Marion. Again, she's going to come with the monkey. Pop this open here. There. Very nice. Wow, looks just like Karen Allen, I would say. Great articulation on the arms, on the legs, multiple points there. Sandals look nice. Good detailing on her top. And then her little accessory bag will include two sides of the ark, which we'll put together in a bit. The frying pan and the monkey. Does the monkey have a name? I have never known that, if he does. Otherwise, we'll just call him the Nazi monkey. And we'll put the frying pan, her main weapon from the fight in Cairo. She'll hold that, and then let's see, we can put, I don't know, what's the most she just hold the monkey like that, but I'm sure there's a better way. I'll try to pose her better when we get to the end of these figures here with the monkey. Let's move on to Sala. Boy, I have never owned a Sala figure. I don't think of any, like not even Lego. I know there's a Sala figure in some of the newer Lego sets, but I have never owned a Sala figure, I don't think, before, which is crazy. Such an important supporting character in the Indiana Jones franchise, as we know he will be in the new movie. I think he probably won't have a huge role, unfortunately, in Dial of Destiny. I would love to see him actually go on the adventure with Indy. Doesn't seem like that is going to happen in the new one. But there's Sala in the outfit he wears for the map room scene. Let's open up his accessory pack here. So Sala comes with the top of the Ark without the birds. And he's got the rope that Indy uses to go down in the Well of the Souls, and he's got a shovel, I guess, for digging up. Sorry, but Indy goes down in the map room with the rope, I guess, and also into the Well of the Souls. And then they have to dig up the Well of the Souls with the shovels. Pretty good. Very nice. You can tell who it is. Looks like John Rhys Davies, the actor. Good detailing all around. I'm a big fan of this character. Very glad to have him in the 6-inch action figure form. Thank you to Hasbro for that. Let's get on to the villains. Major Arnold Tote. I don't know when I would have ever learned his first name. I don't know when I knew that, or if I knew that. I don't even think they say his last name in the movie. I don't think they ever say Tote. You just knew that from the ancillary materials. So let's open up Tote here. Very cool looking figure. Looking a little bit like Dwight Schrute a little with the glasses. Or maybe like Steven Tobolowsky, character actor. But no, this is a great reproduction of that figure. So the hands that he has by default here are his gloved hands. Let's take a look without the cloak. Does have his little pin on his lapel. And then let's take a look at his accessories. The gun. Oops. Got his hat. So he does have a removable hat. He has the alternate melting face. 2 more sides of the Ark. And 1 alternate hand, which is the burned hand with the indentation of the headpiece to the Staff of Ra. See if I can get that to adjust the focus there. But yeah, that is Tote. And like I said, I'm going to set these up in a minute so we can see all their alternate stuff. But first, let's open the final figure. This is Renee Belloc, the main villain of Raiders of the Lost Ark. He's kind of the evil archaeologist. So this will show you how to build the Ark itself, build an artifact, shows you how to put it together. I'll do that in a minute as well. Wow, there he is. Look at that, how detailed it is. Wow. The detailing on the outfit is pretty remarkable. Look at that compared to, like, this one looks like he's wearing a tablecloth, and the one from the 80s, and then this one just looks so authentic. Let's open up his accessories here. So he does have the ram's head staff. that he uses during that ceremony, opening up the Ark in the end of the film. There we go. And the other things that Belloc comes with are just these poles to use to, that Indy and Sala use to lift the Ark. So they go together like this. Like that. So what I'm going to do is I'll build the Ark. I'm going to set up all these figures and we'll take a closer look at them. Okay, here's a look at all of the 5 Raiders of the Lost Ark Adventure Collection figures. I've swapped out some of the alternate parts. Let's see. For Marion, I really just put the monkey up on her shoulder where it should go. It looks better than her holding it dangling by its tail. She doesn't have a lot of alternate parts. Indy, I swapped out his hand for the whip hand, and I tried to pose him as he kind of looks on that famous poster for Raiders. For Belloc, he also doesn't have a lot of alternates, but I just kind of put him over the Ark of the Covenant, which I built. And look how amazingly cool and detailed it looks. This might be my favorite thing about all of these figures, the fact that you can build, you know, this whole idea of the build an artifact. I know for the Temple of Doom series, they're doing the kind of, that big skull that the Sankara stones live in or can, you know, rest in. But this is, you know, the Ark of the Covenant is just such an iconic artifact from Raiders of the Lost Ark that I don't think this set would have been complete without it. And I haven't really owned it in toy form before. Which is great. It also, you know, we've got the Idol of Fertility there from the beginning of Raiders. Let's see if I can get it in focus. So that's another artifact that does come with this set. Sala also doesn't have any alternate parts, but still a great looking figure. And then I think Tote just looks so much better with his hat on. And I swapped out his hand for the one with the imprint of the headpiece to the Staff of Ra. Now, there is also, of course, the alternate head for Tote, poor Tote, when the Ark gets opened and his face melts off. So I haven't put that on there, but maybe later on I'll open the Ark and see what happens, see what's inside of there and how it affects these characters. And here is the retro collection all stood up. Again, action figure technology was not quite as sophisticated as it is now back in the early 80s, but you know, there's this trend lately that I'm actually in favor of, a big proponent of this trend of re-releasing toys that were released in the 80s. I have bought some of the retro collection Star Wars stuff. I have bought the Ghostbusters stuff that Hasbro has re-released from those lines in the 80s. Just it's just a way to kind of recapture your childhood. If you know, I was dumb growing up and I sold all my action figures in like garage sales and stuff. Super regret. You know, you get to be a teenager and you're like, I don't want this stuff anymore. And then you get into your adulthood and you're like, I would kill to have these toys back that I loved when I was a kid. So this is a great way to do that with this retro collection. I'm going to put aside these action figures for now. And we're going to look at a bunch of the other toys that came in this big box from Hasbro. Okay, we're going to move on to this Worlds of Adventure collection. Like I said earlier, these are targeted at younger kids who are getting into Indiana Jones probably for the first time via their parents, maybe showing them the older movies, or maybe kids who are excited to go see Dial of Destiny and want to get caught up on what Indiana Jones is all about. So let's start popping some of these open here. This is the one that I'm probably the most interested in because it's the classic opening scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Let's see. There's Indy. I'm going to get a pair of scissors. I think I got to cut him out of there with some scissors. But let's see what's in this bag first. So, let's see, we got a spider, we got a backpack, we got the boulder, the machete, a snake. I think by and large these toys are not going to come with guns. I think the, well, I'll take that back because there are the missile firing elements, just not the handguns are probably not going to be present in the toys that are targeted at younger kids. There I snapped the boulder together. There is the idol of fertility in smaller form for the Worlds of Adventure series. There's a torch. See that there? The machete, a spider, a snake, and a backpack. Let me get a pair of scissors and I'll cut Indy out. Okay, I've Indy and his whip free of the packaging. So yeah, this particular set is just intended to recreate that opening scene from Raiders, because you got the boulder, you got a spider, you can give Indy a backpack, although he's not necessarily famous for wearing a backpack. It does have a couple compartments you can open up for him to go on adventures if he needs more gear. There's looks like some camping gear in there, and oh, and maybe we can store. This is good. I always liked this kind of aspect of toys, is when you can store, like I'll put the idol in there. Does the torch also fit? No. So just one or two things you can put in there, and then we'll have him hold the torch so he can see in the dark, adventuring into the caves. I'm going to continue opening all these up, and then we'll look at them all together after they're all open. This one is Indiana Jones with horse. So, you know, I said Last Crusade earlier. Yeah, there's it comes with the Holy Grail. So, let's see. Again, I'll start with the accessories. What's in here? We got 2 grails. Uh-oh. One of them's got to be the false grail, but looks like the real grail. And then I'll cut Indy out again. Okay, I've got Indy out of the box with his nice Arabian horse. He can hold on to the rein here, or we can have him hold. Let's see, we got a grail. Let's give him a grail. And, oh, he's got the satchel, so he can get trapped on the side of the tank like he does in Last Crusade. Oh, and this one's got a different backpack for him to wear. And let's see, what can we keep in here? We'll keep the other grail in here. It does give me 2 grails in this box. I guess it's good to have an extra in case you lose one. Let's see if I can put this on his back. I think that's where no, this might be able to. Oh, yeah, so that's supposed to attach to the side of the horse there, which is good. And then this one's also got a whip and a snake. So we'll take a look at that later. Let's open up Helena Shaw with motorcycle. Yeah, like I said earlier, she's got a missile, or this is a net firing gun. Capture bad guys with the net, I guess. Okay. And, oh, there's a little skull with the crown on it. I suspect we will know what that is after we get to see Dial of Destiny in June. A backpack that we can hold the The skull, I almost said scroll, like from Marvel. So the skull can go into the backpack. And I'll cut Helena out of packaging here. Of course, this is the character played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who played L337, the droid, in Solo, a Star Wars story. She's also famous for that BBC show Fleabag, which I have not seen, but I heard good things about that. So I think she can either wear this on her back. No, I think this one's intended to be on the side of the motorcycle as well. So she can hold that like that, and it's got that little skull in there. Again, I imagine we'll know more about that when we do get a chance to see the movie. Oh yeah, and then you can attach this net launcher. Whoa, that just lives on the side of the motorcycle. Great. Second to last is going to be Voller, the Mads Mikkelsen character from the new movie. Let's open that up. So there are action figures also coming out for the Dial of Destiny that Hasbro has announced and revealed at, we saw them at Star Wars Celebration first. And I think those will be out relatively soon, maybe in time for the new film. I'm going to cut all this stuff out of this packaging. Okay, so here's all the pieces for his plane, for Voller's plane. Let's see if I can snap them all together in the right way. There's one wing. Here's another wing. There's the tail. There we go. And he also has kind of a missile launcher thing that goes on the bottom. That goes in here. Whoops. And Voller himself will sit in this little turret. There we go. Which also gets a gun. Spin around there, and he gets to hold on to this. Okay, you get the idea. See if we can get some focus there. That's what he looks like. I'm going to retrieve that missile. Great, so that's what that looks like. It looks like the cockpit also opens up. You can probably also put him in there if you want him inside the plane instead of firing from the turret. Let's open this last one here from the Worlds of Adventure collection before we get into some of the other stuff. This is Indiana Jones with motorcycle and sidecar, and sadly no Henry Jones Sr. Maybe he's in a different Worlds of Adventure set. So far, the only characters that we've got are Indy, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who's Helena Shaw, and then Voller, the villain from the new movie. And I'll cut the motorcycle out. So I'll put the motorcycle sidecar on here. We'll put Indy on the motorcycle. Just missing his dad. I don't understand why his dad wouldn't also go. Could they not? Did Sean Connery not agree to, I don't know. It seems odd that we wouldn't get Indy's dad in this set. But it does have another missile launcher. Let's see, that'll plug in right here in the front. You know, that scene where they shoot the missile from the motorcycle sidecar. Then there's an extra, like a spare tire wheel that sits on the back of the sidecar like that. Just nobody to sit in the sidecar. That does seem very odd to me. An odd choice here. So I'm going to go through and kind of set up all the rest of this stuff, and then we'll take a final look at Worlds of Adventure before moving on. Okay, here's everything that they sent me from the Worlds of Adventure series. Again, this is intended for younger kids. This is not something that I would buy for myself. This is for ages 4 and up, kids who are likely just learning about Indiana Jones and, you know, whose parents kind of want to introduce them to the franchise. I do like them, though, for what they are. I because we didn't get Indy's dad, I just kind of had Indy riding in his own sidecar there. Maybe that's the secret plot of Dial of Destiny. Maybe there are clones of Indy that he gets to go on adventures with. We'll find out in a couple months. No, probably not. But the other thing I kind of don't get is this obsession with like missile launchers or rocket launchers. Not something you see a ton of in Indiana Jones, but you know what? Lego does this too with a lot of their, especially with the Star Wars stuff. I feel like maybe kids are really into like missile launchers or rocket launchers. That always seems to be like, they just need like a projectile to launch. It's just a play element, I guess, that adds a bit of fun. And then you do get a couple snakes, some extra whips, a couple knives. I don't even know what this knife is. Maybe that's from the new movie. I'm not sure which set that even came in, but I don't recognize that dagger. And then Indy's machete. So pretty cool. Again, for younger kids, this might be the stuff to pick up for them if they are excited to learn more or to play more about Indiana Jones. Let's take a look at the rest of the stuff in this box. So the next thing I want to take a look at is this Staff of Ra Headpiece from Hasbro. Again, this is ages 14 and up, so it's a little bit targeted at older fans. Certainly older than the 4+ sets. Okay, got that open. All right, here's what it looks like inside here. Some instructions. You got the base, nice and sturdy base. They've put these cardboard pieces in here, I think, to protect something from going on in there. This is the part that, you know, Indy kind of dusts off before he inserts the Staff of Ra in there. And then, let's see, what do we actually have inside this packaging? So this would be the top of the staff as seen in the movie. Very nice detailing on that. And then the headpiece is going to sit right in there. And the headpiece is right here. So, okay, so this is definitely plastic. It's not metal like the one that you would get at Disney parks. Let me, I'm actually going to do a comparison. Let me run and grab that. So here's the Disney parks headpiece, the Staff of Ra. Here is the Hasbro one. This one is metal. This is as close as you can get to a nice replica of the headpiece for a reasonable price. I forget how much it costs. You know, I think it was something like $50 to $75. I think probably closer to $75. I'm not sure how much the Hasbro one costs, but it is plastic. And I would say that just based on looking at this right out of the box, this one is more for display. It does have a little bit of, it has like a black, very plain black display stand it came with. And this one is more for play. It's going to light up, and you can put it inside that stand. So I'll put this one away. I'm very glad that I bought this. I have bought most of those artifacts that they've been selling at the parks, and you can get them on Shop Disney as well. This is a different take on it, and it has different features. So let's take a look at what those are. So I did glance at the instructions there just so I have a general idea of what I'm supposed to be doing. But basically it wants me to set the headpiece inside the top of the staff, as you would probably guess. There we go. Okay, it's pretty solidly sturdy in there. Take back one Kadam to honor the Hebrew god whose ark this is. Okay, and then we're supposed to put the headpiece inside the center hole in the base. Now, I'm guessing maybe I need to insert some batteries here. That might help. So yeah, I went ahead and put batteries in here. Clearly I hadn't read the directions closely enough. But let's see what happens now when I do insert the headpiece in there. It does glow. Look at that, very nice. I think it says on the instructions if I press that button it goes to sleep, or I can press it again to light up. In fact, I'm going to turn off the lights here and we'll get a better impression of how this works. Okay, I dimmed the lights in the room. Still got the light coming in from outside, but we'll get a better idea. So I'm going to actually remove this and stick it back in. Wow, cool. Oh, and it lights up on the back side too. Look at that. That's something you won't get from that other one. Both very cool. Glad that I have them both. But this one is more of a play kind of thing, although it is recommended for ages 14 and up. Very cool to have that as part of the Indiana Jones collection. Okay, I've got the lights back on, and the second to last thing that I want to check out here is this Indiana Jones Whip Action Indy. Let's pop him open. He's going to have to be cut out of his packaging as well, so let me get in there with the scissors and free him from the packaging. That's what he comes with. He's just Indy. How can you go wrong with Indiana Jones? Actually, a pretty good likeness there of Harrison Ford. Let's see, the left arm has some good articulation, kind of a ball joint in the shoulder there. Similar for the...
I don't know, I'm making this up as I go.
For the right arm, the hip does swivel back and forth. The shoes, the feet have no articulation, the knees have no articulation. The head does move around. It has a swivel joint there also. But the real feature here, here's the look. A look at the back. This one already has batteries in it, I'm assuming, because it already is making some noises. So let's see how this works. Okay, you just want to like kind of push down on.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Push down on the satchel in the back there.
It belongs in a museum.
So like every third or fourth time you swing the whip, Indy has a nice phrase that he says. I think it's a good looking toy. Again, this is probably going to be intended for younger kids as well. Let's see, it says 4 and up. So yeah, this is going to look pretty nice on my shelf. But I would say, by and large, this is meant for the younger Indy fans out there. And I think they'll get a kick out of the Whip Action Indy. That's a cool one. Very simple, but very fun and looks really nice. Okay, lastly, speaking of whips, we have the Indiana Jones Action-Crackin Whip. Let's bust this baby open out of here. This is intended for ages 5 and up, by the way. And, you know, as a kid watching Indiana Jones, the first thing you're going to want is a whip. I can't argue with that. It's not something that a lot of action heroes use. Some of them do. Catwoman being one of them. I don't know, trying to think of whip. Characters that use whips. Indiana Jones probably being the most famous, but there are others. Okay, so there you have it. It's the Action-Crackin Whip. It's not electronic. Doesn't require any batteries. This is about as simple as it gets as far as what you want out of a whip toy. And your kids are going to be going crazy with this thing, whipping everything in sight. It does actually grab onto stuff. It's grabbing onto the edge of my coffee table, and the tripod. I know you can't really see that, but yeah, so it'll like whip around somebody's arm without being actually dangerous, which is great. I'm sure that was a big part of the intent. I kind of caught the edge of the coffee table there. But yeah, I think I can definitely see kids of a certain age, over the age of 5, and probably under the age of 10, being really into this if they've watched and enjoyed the Indiana Jones films and want to get, or you know, even like part of a Halloween costume. If a kid wants to go dressed as Indiana Jones and wants a reasonable facsimile of Indy's whip, again, without being actually dangerous, I think that is a pretty fun and outside the box, I would say, idea for a toy from Hasbro as part of this Indiana Jones merchandising push. So I think the last thing we actually need to do here is open up the Ark and see what's inside. Let's take a look. Oh, it's a bunch of extra hands and spiders and snakes and whips and oh no. And that's it. That's everything that came in this amazing Indiana Jones box from Hasbro. Oh gosh, what an amazing box of stuff. I am super thrilled with all the action figures. I think this stuff, Worlds of Adventure, is great for younger kids. Love this 12-inch Indy whip action. The Staff of Ra. Oh gosh, very cool. Light up headpiece of the Staff of Ra. And then you've got the whip. Boy, oh boy. If you want to find out more about any of this stuff, visit HasbroPulse.com or check out LaughingPlace.com. We have a whole post about all this and where you can buy it. And Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny coming out in, I think, late June, so I'm pretty psyched about that. I don't know about you, but otherwise, please visit Laughing Place for all your Disney news and opinions. You can check out my podcast at Who's the Bosk, and we'll see you real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye!